Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. Welcome to the Project Innovation RFP webinar. I don't think we'll be going until 12. I'm asking at any time, feel free to type in your questions. However, we're going to answer all of your questions towards the end of the webinar. So let's get started. So again, welcome. Just to give you some information about the Youth Services Division, one of the programs that we offer is the year-round out-of-school program. This program serves approximately 12,000 youth per year, and we work with youth between the ages of 6 to 18. And within that program, there are 4 types of program models. We offer out-of-school time, which has subcategories such as performing arts, sports, different activities that youth will participate in, academic, those type of programming. We have mentoring, where we try to pair mentors with mentees, and they receive one-on-one mentoring as well as different types of social activities they get the opportunity to be exposed to. We have behavioral health services, which is where youth are able to receive counseling from certified professionals. And then we have intensive youth services, which is a program that focuses on youth who may have been involved in gang activity or are currently involved in gang activity. And we work with them to get them back in school, to help them receive their GED, and to help them to make better choices and refrain from negative activity. Within this group, we have different programming schedules. We have programs that operate year-round. For us, that would be from January to December. We have school year, where programs operate from September until June. We have summer, just the summer period programs operate, and we have summer and school breaks, where a program operates during the summer, but they also offer programming during the times that school is not in session. So let's talk about the goals of the Project Innovation Design Competition. First of all, we are very, very excited to be able to offer this type of program, this innovation project to people in the city of Chicago. And so we are looking for programs that are highly, highly innovative. So no idea is a bad idea. You know, reach for the sky, some of the things you really have been wanting to do. This will give you the opportunity to do that. This grant is going to be extremely competitive. Then we're seeking to fund and give voice to any smaller organizations, to new organizations that we don't currently fund, and of course, agencies that we are currently funding are also eligible. We're looking for your proposal to be youth-driven, something that youth would highly be interested in, that you give youth voice in the policy of your program, in its design and its implementation. So we should see, as you write this RFP, how you have youth truly in mind, and you have youth that are involved in the process of this program that you are seeking funding. So these are some of the submission guidance that is actually in the RFP that we released last week. So we're looking for you to serve a minimum of 25 youth, and you must select in one of the following age groups: 6 to 11, 12 to 15, or 16 to 25. Again, select at least one of the age groups, and we want you to serve a minimum of 25 youth. We're looking for programming that is year-round. You can do weekend and holiday program, or you can do a combination of all. Again, whatever your idea is, whatever your curriculum looks like, it needs to be age appropriate for the age groups that I mentioned and youth driven. We want you to have clear benchmarks so that we know that you have something in place where you are going to be able to track the success of the program. Qualified staff who you know, have experience and backgrounds working with youth. And there is an Appendix A that I will show you shortly that was also attached in the RFP. And so extra points will be given for organizations who are able to recruit and work with youth from the schools that are listed in Appendix A. So as you can see, we're looking at, in Appendix A, we're looking at the community area of Austin. The high school there in Austin is Douglas, and then there are about 6 or 7 elementary schools that are in 1 mile from each other in that area. East Garfield Park is another one of the community areas. Marshall High School is served there. The elementary schools are next to that. In Inglewood, we have Robeson and Hope, with the adjoining elementary schools that are close to both of those high schools in Inglewood. The next community area we have is Greater Grand Crossing. Hirsch High School is the school in that community area. Humboldt Park, Orr High School, New City, Tilden. In Pullman community area, there's Corliss High School. And in Roseland, there is Finger and Harlan. And again, you can see the elementary schools that are attached to those high schools. The other thing that I want to point out is that you can serve youth who are not in school. So that population that we spoke about earlier, from 16 to 25. And you can also provide a stipend for your program participants. And so I put up an example of what that may look like for you, and it's an example only. So youth stipends are not subject to payroll taxes because they are just a stipend. And so I put an example here. If you were serving 30 youth, and we know the minimum is 25, if you were serving 30 youth, times 10 weeks for $50, that would come to $15,000. So if you're looking at maybe putting a stipend together for program participation, you're able to do that through this RFP. This is just an example of what that would look like. But please note, no more than 20% of your budget should be allocated to your youth stipend. So now we're moving forward and we're going to discuss the budget application requirements. We are looking to fund approximately 10 organizations. So again, this is a very highly competitive RFP. We're funding anywhere from $50,000 to $75,000. Of course, you can submit for a lesser amount. We want your budget to demonstrate fiscal soundness, up to a 15 administrative cap, and we're expecting you to provide a 15% in-kind or cash match. Remember, the city makes payments based on a reimbursement system, so you provide the services, you submit a voucher, and then we repay off of that voucher. And most importantly, we need you to be able to sustain your program operation for at least 2 months. The selection criteria, so the RFP will be scored using the following criteria, and I believe it's also in your RFP. It is, in fact, it's broken down. Points are assigned in each one of these areas. So for previous program experience and needs of population to be served, your program design administration, your administrative fiscal capacity, along with your budget. So what we have circled and highlighted for you is the link that you received when you were given the release of the RFP. That address is www.cityofchicago.org and /city/en/department/FSS/HTML. However, the way we send it to you, you can access it at cityofchicago.org/FSS. This information is in the body of the release from our Commissioner Butler. I'm giving you the site again, and I'm also going to click on the site. So you go to the site, and you have the Project Innovation, Youth Programming Request for Proposal. If you go down, you will see that you can click on Appendix 1, as well as right above it, you can go into the RFP. The RFP, click the RFP. There you go. And so here is the RFP. You can begin to go through this to get the information so that you can respond and know what the requirements are for submission. Now I'd like you to, we're going to click on the appendix right below the RFP proposal. There you can see the information that I shared with you. It's the appendix of all of the community areas as well as the high schools and elementary schools. And next, you will complete the application through our cyber grant system, is where we actually have all of our applicants to apply now. And so you simply put in your email address and your password. If you've been funded by us before, you currently have a password and email associated with that. If you're a first-time user, right above the email address box, it says first-time user. You can create your own password. And I also want to point out to you at the bottom here where it says need support. Can we click on need support? When you go into need support, there is an FAQ for access to the RFP and to the cyber grant system. And then at the bottom where it says I still have a question, you can go through the process, ask your question, give the information, and you will be able to get online support as well. So there is support for you along the way. So again, in this, I just showed you how to access cyber grants by going through the application process on the city website. Again, you will log in, there's an email address, you'll create a password or use your current password, and there is technical support along the way. And so this is the timeline. Of course, you know the RFP was released last week, Friday, November 6th. Actually, it was released October 30th, and we're doing the RFP. We're doing the webinar today, November 6th. Apologize. The proposal is due November 20th at 12 noon. Be mindful that it's due at 12 noon on the 20th. It is our hope to provide award notifications on December the 11th, and the program is scheduled to begin on January the 1st, 2016. At this time, we will take any questions.
We got a lot of them.
Well, all right.
Are organizations that are not necessarily new or small still eligible?
Yes. Yes. We are looking to fund you if you submit a competitive RFP and you are a 501c3 not-for-profit, you are eligible.
With a minimum of 25 students in the program, do all 25 have to fit into one age range, or can they come from a number of the age ranges? For example, can the program have 25 kids ages 9 to 17?
We are looking for you to pull from one age group. Those age groups are from 6 to 11, from 12 to 15, or from 16 to 25. We're expecting you to serve a minimum of 25 in one of those three age groups.
That is 25 youth for 1 year?
Correct.
Must youth participation precede submission of proposal, or can we continue working with youth to develop program after submission?
So let me, I'm going to answer this question in this way, and if it's not clear, we can have another conversation. So the expectation is that when you begin the program, you've identified your 25 youth. So yes, we expect you to begin in January 1. Yes, we will give you the information about your award on December the 11th. Yes, we do understand that it's a small window and you may still be recruiting in January, but we really do expect that you have at least identified 25 youth to begin to work with you in the program. No, you cannot have 12 youth in January and then you get 5 more in March, and then you get another 5 or 10 in April, and now you begin your program working with the 25. And so if I didn't answer that, and I think that, I'm not sure who asked that question.
That was Mina Girali.
So Mina, if I didn't answer that question, feel free to email me and we can have a further dialogue. And I will definitely provide you my email at the end.
Is there a minimum of hours for the year-round program?
Great question. This is probably the first time we are going to look at the RFP, how you've actually structured it, and we're really trying to tailor this RFP to your design concept. So right now that's open.
Define year-round program, minutes, hours, days, months, camp full-time, every day.
So for us, a year-round program runs from, our program year is January to December. So you will operate a full 12 months. Right now, we expect our year-round out-of-school programs to serve youth at a minimum of 12 hours per week. And when we look at summer, we want you to be able to receive at least 6 hours of programming per day, because we're looking at them not being in school. We're looking at parents, working, and youth needing to have a great program to attend in lieu of not being in school and parents needing support.
If we're client population-based rather than community-based, may we use central location in a school or agency location?
Yes, Mina, we have several of our programs that run counseling, that run academic programs, that have IYS programs, and those programs are located in schools. So case in point, if you, recruit from any one of these areas that we spoke about, and in any of those high schools, elementary schools, you could have a program in that particular community area in that high school or that elementary school.
Can our students be from more than one of those age groups? What if we want to serve students from ages 11 to 18, for example?
So when you make your submission, you can, if you want, design 2 separate programs that fall into that age category. So if you say, I want to work with youth from 6 to 11 on this particular project, but I also want to offer another program for youth that are 12 to 15, you can do that. As long as that one program, you are serving one of the 3 age groups discussed, 6 to 11, 12 to 15, or 16 to 25.
This is another question along the same lines. Can we serve 2 or all 3 age groups and in the RFP, that stated in the RFP?
I think I answered that. You can serve all 3 age groups, but you need to have 3 separate programs that speak to those 3 age groups. Remember, what you're going to submit is age appropriate. So the program you offer to a 6-year-old is not going to be the same program that you offer to an 18-year-old.
There's a lot of questions, a lot of the same questions about the age group. We can serve all ages. Is there a greater need in any particular age cohort?
That's a great question. When we looked at services amongst our population, of course, the younger age group there are more programs available, or there are more youth in those age groups, say between 6 and 15. There are more youth who participate in those programs. The older group, 16 to 25, we don't have as many programs that are serving that age group. And if I had to guess, it's probably because that population, all of it is always based on volunteer. They volunteer to come, And so the older group don't participate in a lot of the after-school programs, because a lot of the after-school programs may not have anything they're interested in. So we are looking, again, for a highly competitive, innovative idea that would speak to that age group between 16 and 25.
On page 5 of the RFP, grant term is 2 years, January 16 through December 2017. Does that mean if we awarded $50,000, it would be only $25,000 per year, or would it actually be $100,000?
No. So this year, or last year, for this year, we began a 2-year funding award. But you are awarded whatever you are awarded. So if you're awarded $50,000, so for 2016, you will receive $50,000. If your agency is in good standing at the end of 2016, and you want to continue your program in 2017, we would, and our funding has been renewed, those dollars are available, then we would fund you for another $50,000. Thank you, George.
If we are already funded for a summer-only program through DFSS, would we be able to use funds from this grant to further support that same program throughout the school year?
Well, yes. I mean, we are not opposed to a really great program using these dollars to augment and enhance what they're currently offering. But again, we are looking for highly innovative, competitive ideas.
Do you, in terms of the city's goals, prefer serving larger number of kids with less intensive STEM programs or a smaller group with more intensive programming?
I think that would actually be up to the agency's capability. If you are able to put together a really great STEM program and, you know, serve 30 children, then, and you actually can demonstrate that in your RFP, we're not opposed to that. If you want to tailor it because you want to do you want to streamline and maybe create a robot, and you want the youth to really be involved in that and take it, break it down from ordering it all the way up to putting it together and having some sort of show afterwards, and you only want to serve 20 youth to do that, we're not opposed to that as well.
What age cohort needs tech programming more? Would it be elementary, junior high, or high school?
Well, right now, the trend, if you go to any of the high school fairs, one of their selling points to parents is that we're a high school to offer STEM. And so I think, you know, that's something, if you are community-based, you may want to look at speaking to people in your community and finding out what the needs are for what particular age group.
Do you have a preference of smaller organizations versus larger ones with new programs?
No. So the answer to that is no.
Are you allowed to submit more than one program design?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
So the program can be year-round or only in summer, correct?
Yes, you can submit for year-round programming, you can submit for summer programming, you can submit for weekend and holiday programming, and you can combine all of it.
The application asks about STEAM experience. Does the RFP prioritize STEAM projects?
I'm not going to say we will prioritize STEAM projects, but, you know, so if we talk about it, yes, we're looking for programs. If you have an innovative program for science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, then we're open to all of that.
Is your expectation that we use existing staff?
We're funding between $50,000 and $75,000. You have the autonomy to create this award and structure it the way you see fit within your agency.
The grant award would be over 2 years, is that correct?
Correct. This would be a 2-year grant, providing that the second year we have funding available to award you the following year.
You answered this before. How many hours per week should youth be served?
So we're kind of like leaving that up to you. Again, I will say that in our after-school program, we do require that you serve youth for a minimum of 12 hours. I'm not saying you should use that as a base, but that does give you some idea of what we're currently doing. Again, you can be innovative and tell us how many hours you want to serve youth and what you're going to do, what services you're going to provide them. And again, you know, I can't stress enough that youth, it should be youth-driven. You should have youth voice written in your proposal. You know, you should have a conversation with the youth that are currently in your program, or, you know, you could even do some sort of focus group involved in the program, what would you like to see?
I had trouble logging into the webinar. I mean, I missed the first 10 minutes. Where would
We're currently recording this webinar. We will have a link available to you as quickly as possible. If you have registered, we have your email, and we will be sending out the RFP to you.
It will also be posted on the DFSS website.
Julia Talbot is saying it will also be posted on the FSS website, and we will be sending you the PowerPoint.
The funding is $50,000 to $75,000 annually, correct?
Yes. We're looking at funding any one of the 10 proposals between $50,000 and $75,000 per year, with the option of a second-year funding if funds are available.
If we apply for multiple schools, does it require multiple applications?
I think the way Cyber Grants is set up, you have the opportunity to tell us where you would run programming.
If we will propose one program at multiple sites, should we submit separate applications? It's the same question, sorry.
It also depends on how much money you want.
So Julia Talbot is saying that it depends on how much money you want. And again, in Cyber Grants, you do have the opportunity to say, I'm going to serve 12 youth here and 12 youth in another, community area or in another school or another location.
This was the question that was asked before, but maybe you can clarify. Can the program be an existing program within the organization that fits the criteria you've designed and led, ages, etc., but a program that does not currently receive funding?
Yes. So if you have a program in your organization that is youth-driven, youth-led, and you're not receiving any funding from us, and you'd like to apply for this Project Innovation Grant to do that, yes, you can do that.
You can answer this one too. Does the program have to occur throughout the entire year, or could it be for only part of the year, one school semester or summer?
So you can serve year-round, you can serve summer, you can serve holiday, you can serve weekends, you can do a combination of all.
Are programs that operate outside of the city of Chicago but work 100% with the Chicago youth eligible?
Is the site located in
Chicago? If the site is located in Chicago, then we would consider funding, but we don't fund any organizations that are not in the city of Chicago.
You have to be operating in the city. So if you're funded, if you're operating, your organization is in a different place, that's fine, but you have to provide services to Chicago youth in Chicago itself.
What are the requirements around the frequency of the program? Should the program be conducted daily, 2 to 3 times per week?
So you have a great program. That program, you're running 3 times a week for 3 hours. What we're looking for, when we say that we are looking for a highly competitive design concept that's highly innovative, we really want you to tell us what type of program you're going to design, what it looks like in terms of hours, days, how many youth you're going to have involved. So we're really asking you to structure something that's new, that's exciting, that's competitive, and that your youth have been asking you for, but you just haven't had the money to fund it.
Is there a maximum amount for a youth stipend?
So I gave an example, and one of the things I said was, as long as as long as no more than 20% of your budget is allocated to the youth stipend, then you should be all right.
there a special focus on programs that focus on STEAM?
Again, if you are looking to submit an RFP for science, technology, engineering, arts, or the math, we are open.
Does the budget allow for conference travel and accommodation and registration in the topic area of the project for youth and staff?
We want your budget to actually be fiscally sound, and so, you know, our budgets that we do, people do submit for transportation. I don't know if that falls under the area of travel.
It's an allowable cost, but I'm not sure if it's the best way to spend the money that you're proposing.
Does the respondent need to be ADA compliant at time of application or time of contract period?
If you're talking about your facility, yes, that's one of the city requirements.
Is it allowable? Is it allowable to provide a joint application with a partner organization?
Sure. I mean, if there's no stipulation where you cannot, work with a partner and do a collaborative type of grant.
We always encourage collaborations, but you can only one person can be the fiscal agent. So only one person. Your budget cannot be broken up between two agencies. One person will be the lead fiscal agent. That's the person who will be awarded the contract, and then you should have a linkage agreement which describes the relationship between the two organizations. And if you want to outline how funds will be split, that's great.
And we've seen that type of proposal, and a lot of times it's because an agency may be new and have not received funding, but they have a sound fiscal agent and they want to use that particular organization, and so it is permissible.
Does the program have to be year-round? Please clarify.
No, it does not. You can provide programming that school year. You can provide programming that's year-round. You can focus maybe just in the summer and holidays. It's open.
Can you please give an example of what DFSS would consider to be an innovative program?
Many of our youth, especially our older youth, are looking at technology because it's the new way of doing things. And so perhaps an innovative program would be youth creating some sort of app, and an app that would allow them to access their homework easier, or some sort of ability for them to communicate easier. So we're open for that type of innovation. But think about, again, some of the things that you really, really want to do and you have not been able to do.
If we already are part of your out-of-school program, do we need to resubmit an application or just submit a proposal for this new grant?
I would suggest that you submit a proposal for this new grant, because remember, this is a separate RFP for what you are currently receiving funding for.
Right. We're looking for a new idea, not you don't have to reapply for what you're already doing.
Is the budget for this program affected by the Illinois state budget for youth programs?
No, this is City of Chicago corporate funds.
Is there a maximum number of youth we can serve?
Well, I think you need to look at the amount of funding you're going to ask for. Again, we are funding between $50,000 and $75,000. So you need to make sure that your budget allows you to be able to serve youth in that window. Somewhere around $1,500 or $2,000 per youth if we're looking at $50,000 to $75,000 a grant award.
Is this intended for an existing program or a new program? If for an existing program, I assume funding would be okay to expand to students in the identified CPS high schools.
Again, you can use this program to augment funding that you are currently receiving. However, just remember that in doing so, that would be a component that you want to offer this program that you haven't been able to offer this program, and so now you're seeking funding to enhance what you are currently doing.
If the program starts in January, what is the end month?
So we're looking at January 1, 2016 to December 31, 2016.
Follow-up from Mina, do all the planning, designing process with youth have to occur before submission?
So you design your RFP the way, based on the type of program that you want to provide, and everything is in that RFP that you want to do. Now, in the RFP, you can also structure it so that you phase in certain things. So maybe in the beginning of the year, your program is going to look like this, the first quarter. And then the second quarter, you're going to add this part to it. And then the third quarter, you're going to add this part to it. And then the fourth quarter, you will be able to pull all of this together and have maybe some sort of end product. So you can write your RFP that includes the program itself, but yes, you can design different phases for the youth to participate in for the period of time you plan on offering that program.
Now, these are all similar questions. Can the current youths in the current program also be eligible to participate in the new program as well?
Yes, if you're looking at enhancing your current program. But let me say this, you know, we're always looking to serve more youth. So, you know, we're not looking at duplicate enrollment, which is what that would actually be. So you have a program, you want to enhance the program, you need to look at bringing in new youth to the program.
Which gets us into our next question. I'm currently serving youth through the out-of-school time program. Do I need to recruit?
So what we want you to do is demonstrate an enhancement of the current youth program.
If we're testing a new model, what stages of testing should we be in? For example, if it's developing a program with the youth that has been voiced as a need at our organization, and the proposal is based around that new program, developed from scratch, is that acceptable?
Yes, absolutely. And what you're showing us is that you have involved youth, you know, in the design of that program.
Does the program have to be brand new? Can we request funding for innovative services that are already being provided?
Okay, so I think we have really answered that question.
I'm just curious, where does this funding come from?
Again, this year, the mayor awarded us an additional $500,000 to provide programming, additional programming in the city of Chicago, and we are very, very appreciative. In fact, it was $1.5 million that was given, and we were for youth in the city of Chicago, and we were awarded $500,000 in youth services to provide additional program services. And so these dollars are corporate dollars that are coming directly from the city of Chicago.
Can we recruit 25 youth in one of the specific age groups and then offer the program to youth outside of that age group as well?
Okay, so again, we are looking for you to serve one of the three age groups, 6 to 11, 12 to 15, or 16 to 25.
We have students from the neighborhoods listed in Appendix 1, but not necessarily from the schools. Are we still eligible? Are we at a disadvantage?
We are looking to, what we're saying is, no, you are not. However, if you are serving youth or recruiting youth from Appendix 1, when we score the RFP, those agencies that are recruiting from that community area will receive additional points.
Is preference given to the community areas listed in Appendix 1? Why no North Lawndale?
This information that in Appendix 1 was based on research conducted by and what we found is that this community area and these high schools are from areas that have higher rates of crime and incidents of violence. And so we really want to try to put programming in those areas to fulfill the need, because we don't have as many programs in that community area as we do others.
Can you distribute or post this PowerPoint presentation to participants?
Yes, we are going to email this PowerPoint to all of the agencies that have registered and left us their email today.
Have two pilot programs, two different age groups. Can the 25 youth be split between the two programs, or should we submit both programs?
Submit both programs. Out of school time year-round, we've answered that question.
Is there a cost per youth max that you are requiring?
No, there's not. Create your budget, let it be fiscally sound, look at the number of youth you want to serve, and determine from there.
You want to say this one last time about the grant award? Is it for 1 year or 2 years?
So the award is a 2-year award. So you'll be funded from January 1 of 2016 until December 31 of 2017. However, the funding is still based on if we have the dollars at the end of 2016, we will then award the application again for 2017. And that would mean that if the funds are available in 2017, you would not have to resubmit. You would automatically be refunded at the amount that you were awarded.
You mentioned identifying youth by the start of the program. Could you define identify? Do we just need to know where the youth will be recruited and who they will generally be, or specifically the names of at least 25 youth?
I think that most of our agencies, when it comes to recruitment, they have certain areas they know where youth reside, youth will participate, and there's always a list that's generated, a waiting list as well, so that if you are awarded, you basically have the youth you're going to work with. I think that's the way it's been done, and that may work for you as well.
Is the age range set in stone? The age range is kind of confusing. For example, we work with high school students, but the age range starts at 13 to 18. If we work with high schools, they won't allow youth over 18 in the school most of the time.
So in terms of the age group, yes, we have these 3 set age groups because we want your idea, your program, your curriculum to be age appropriate. And one of the things that we have said is that you can work with youth who are out of school. So yes, we do have that 16 to 25, and perhaps somewhere in there you have youth that are like 18, they're not in school, 19, they're not in school, they've had some issues for whatever the reason. Maybe they have their GED, and you know you have a program that's really sound and exciting, and that age group would be excited about joining. That's the age group maybe you want to look at giving a stipend for program participation. So we do have these set age groups, and you can look at working with youth that are out of school.
Is there a service learning component that involves other local 501c3 organizations? Can only the lead organization apply?
Not sure about the service learning component. I think that's something that if you laid it out, we could look at it. In terms of 501c3, I think Julia explained it pretty well, and I mentioned that if it's more than one organization, then yes, that the two organizations can work together. It could be a collaborative. One organization would get funding, and then you need to spell out how you would split those dollars. Maybe the one organization would just be the lead organization, and that organization would maybe just get the 15% admin, and they would be paying your staff, your youth or whatever, in the budget. This is corporate funding. Again, the mayor awarded the city additional funding this year, youth funding this year. So this funding is coming from the city and it's corporate funds.
Do I submit my current out-of-school application with the new proposal?
So we answered that. This is two separate grants. You are not going to submit the grant we're funding you for now for this proposal. You currently have an out-of-school time grant, and you're serving 35 youth, and you're providing whatever services you're providing. This RFP is a different RFP, so you're not going to submit what you're currently being funded for.
Just to clarify, you said there is no minimum of hours, but then said that year-round is expected to be 12 hours a week during the school year, 6 hours a day in the summer. Is this required if requesting to run a program year-round?
So again, I gave an idea of what we are doing in out-of-school time, just out-of-school time. You have the autonomy to tell us when you write your proposal how many hours, how many days, how many youth you're going to serve.
Are the administrators of the targeted schools aware that the youth of their schools are being targeted in the RFP?
Yes and no. I say yes and no because there are a few agencies that currently run programs in those high schools and in those elementary schools.
At the beginning of the presentation, you outlined 4 current programs that you are already managing. Do you want us to ensure that we don't repeat programs that you are already supporting? With that, are these also funded programs we can apply for?
So let me start at the end. Next year, in 2016, the RFP will be open for our out-of-school time programming. What you saw in the beginning of the PowerPoint was what and who we are in terms of year-round out-of-school programs and what programs we actually offer. No, we are not saying that you have to apply in any one of those categories. We're not funding in any one of those categories. This RFP is strictly for you to design a burning program that you've been wanting to fund and you just haven't had the dollars, and so we're offering this opportunity to smaller organizations, to organizations who've never received funding, and to organizations that we're currently funding.
Can agencies submit joint applications?
Yes.
Can program operate during school hours at school?
You know, that's an interesting question. It depends on the school, actually, because most schools are already structured to offer programming. But let me just say this. This is an out-of-school time program, so it would be to your advantage to provide a program that speaks to youth that needs services once school has ended.
Can students participate from several different schools?
Yes, you can.
Can the budget purchase equipment?
So
I didn't finish the question.
I'm sorry. Finish the question, Victor.
Can the budget purchase equipment or computers for a technology STEM program?
So typically we don't fund equipment, and you can, but I wouldn't say that's the best way to use the dollars.
Can we build a launch period into the project timeline?
Yes.
Can we use individuals as independent contractors and or use other agencies as consultants for specialty skills in STEM?
Yes.
Can you elaborate on how you want us to work with the schools in Appendix 1?
So in the RFP, we state that you want to recruit youth from those community areas. So if you are in that particular community, you have an organization that's in that particular community, then you want to look at youth who are attending those high schools or elementary schools and bring them to your program to offer services. You do not necessarily have to be in those schools, but we are looking at you participating, recruiting youth from those community areas. So again, someone asked about the days, the hours. We're not specifying that you have to run programming for 12 hours. We're not specifying that you have to run program on any set day. We merely gave an example of what that requirement is for another program that we operate. This is a totally separate RFP. And so we want you to look and design what you think, what you would like to see. Many times, you know, we offer programming, and not just the city, but organizations, other funders offer programming, and they tell you and they specify exactly what they want you to do. We are offering this project as to say, what do you want to do? Tell us what you see. Tell us what your youth have said to you that they would like to participate in. And then go from there.
Can you work with more than one funder to increase the budget?
Sure. If you know, if you believe this program is going to cost you $100,000 and you're going to seek funding on other places to support it, sure.
Could a program be semester-based, or does it need to be operating with the same 25 youth the entire 12 months?
Well, we want you to have some consistency. So with the youth that you are going to recruit to run for the program, those youth should be with you in the entire time of the program.
Do the youth have to be from schools in Appendix 1?
So, you know, I thought about my answer to the last question, and it was, can we run a semester-based program? And so I want to go back to that. And one of the things I want to say about that is, if you're saying I want to work with 25 youth here, 25 youth there, 25 each semester, I mean, that would be up to you, but you do need to look at what that funding would look like. What that program would look like, and how, you know, feasible or how it would be structured in order to make sure that you had the kind of funding by way of staff to support it. Joy, you want to chime in on that? Or did I answer? Okay, all right. So the next question.
Do we need youth workers on staff if we offer a behavioral health program model? We would use a psychologist to counsel youth.
Well, in our current behavioral health program, the expectation is that you have qualified staff to render your counseling program. So you would need youth staff, but you may want to look at who's going to recruit the youth, who's going to go out and you know, do the assessments. Is all that going to be done through the, you know, psychologist? So you know, so yes, you may want to have one youth staff on, or a qualified staff, right? A qualified staff in order to help you with that BHS program.
Can the budget purchase special materials, software, or STEM program curriculums and pay for staff training on the curriculum?
I would suggest that you you submit the budget the way you see the program to actually operate, but I would say yes.
Does the minimum of 25 students need to be served per program design, and would multiple program designs be included in one application?
You could submit like that, yes.
Does the can we work in 10-week sessions to give additional youth an opportunity to participate rather than the same 25?
Yes.
Does the program have to take place after school? Can it be an intensive program during school hours? I think you answered that.
We did.
Does this have to be an educational program, or can the program design be workforce development training and placement?
You know, let us, you know, that would be something that we would look at as you submitted it, because we are looking at youth, the ages of 16 to 25. We know that those youth, some of those youth are out of school youth, and you have the option of serving youth who are not in school.
I don't know if you answered this one. Does your lead agency have to be located in one of the community areas?
No.
For organizations serving schools and communities not listed in the appendix, what schools criteria would you be looking at in the selection process?
I think you would tell us. There is a section in the question on the RFP that talks about you explain to us, you know, the demographics of your community, what their needs are, what gaps in services currently exist. So, you know, you need to do and provide us your community assessment and why you believe this particular area that you want to serve has a need.
How many of the awards do you expect to go to programs serving students from the schools listed in Appendix 1?
We are going to fund 10 agencies. Doesn't mean we're going to fund 10 agencies from those community areas. We're going to fund up to 10 agencies.
How rigorous of an evaluation, outcome evaluation are you looking for?
That's up to you.
What is your definition of innovative programs, and can you give examples?
We've already answered that.
We did.
Is the program already started? Is it still eligible, or does the program have to be completely new?
I think we've already answered that question.
If our expertise is behavioral health and we are going to collaborate with the school on Appendix 1, we can design a program to bring that schools for, let's say, 6 to 11 age group.
Yes.
If our program offers stipends, teen interns, can the stipend be higher than 25% of the total project budget, as long as we don't request more than 25% for stipend in our application budget?
So the response to that I gave earlier is no more than 20% of your budget should go to youth stipends.
If the year-round programs are 12 hours a week and the summer, then how many hours a week summer will be? I think you answered this one already.
Mm-hmm. We did. Answer that one too.
Yeah, we answered this one. Where yes, this one. Yes, this one. Is summer programming a requirement?
Summer programming is not a requirement. You have the option of running program year-round, during the summer, holidays, weekends, a combination of both.
Is the grant posted on Cyber Grants now?
Yes.
Yes, it is. It was released on October 30th, and
the application is up and running.
Can you give us an example of an acceptable in-kind match?
Your in-kind match can either be a catch match, or it can be, because it's corporate, you just demonstrate that you're getting money from some other source that can be used to match. That match can be used, could be already, operational dollars that are already in play.
or it could be human match capital.
Right. It can be, just demonstrate that this is not the only funding that you receive.
Is this a reimbursement-based grant? Will agencies be required to submit monthly vouchers as with other DFSS grants?
Yes,
Right.
yes, we are. The city always funds on a reimbursement system, and again, we ask that you have at least 2 months of sustainable programming to support your program.
My program is not on the list of geographical high schools that receive extra points. However, I am looking to do a collaboration between youth on the north side and youth in an already established program on the west side. Does the program favor these types of connections across traditional city boundaries? If so, does it value them equally to those areas listed as the ones for eligible extra points?
No.
No.
On the list for Pullman, I see Corliss High School listed. Olive Harvey Alternative School is also a school in Pullman. So since this high-risk high school is not on the list, are they not a high priority, or can we still support them? Or would you recommend a hybrid program between Corliss and Olive Harvey?
So the Appendix 1 just shows you high schools that are in that community area. But from what you're saying, you are serving youth from that community area. The youth do not have to reside in that school, but we're also looking at youth that you can serve and recruit from that community area. So if who you're serving is in the Pullman community area, you're fine. The high schools were just listed, and the elementary schools were listed as an example of where programming could be. You could actually recruit youth from. But the community area is the community area that you can actually recruit from and serve.
Please explain what you mean by plan for continuing development of staff as expertise. If staff is experienced and professional in STEM.
So I think that I answered that when we talked about, qualified staff. So if you're looking at, having a program and it's a STEM program, you want to have staff that are qualified with the appropriate backgrounds to run that particular program. So yes, if you currently receive DFSS funding, you are eligible. Yes, to apply for this RFP, yes, you can submit more than one proposal.
If we put 2 age groups, the minimum service would be 50?
The minimum of youth to serve is 25. So if you want to serve 2 separate age groups and you're going to submit 2 separate proposals, then you would be serving 50 in one 25 in one program, 25 in the other.
So we must have weekend holiday offerings in our program?
The example I gave was that you could do year-round, you could do weekends, holidays, or a combination of both.
Can you recruit from more than one area and transport clients from one area to the other one?
So there's always a caveat to what transportation and transporting of youth look like. And I would suggest that you actually have that dialogue with your organization, because there's a liability attached from that. But yes, you can recruit from however many areas you choose.
Thank you for being so patient and answering all these questions.
Not a problem. This is what we are here to do. We really want to be able to be clear and allow you all the ammunition that you need to submit us some great proposals. We are looking forward to reading each and every one of them and selecting the cream of the crop. So no worries. Thank you for your time and your attention.
Where can I find the budget forms?
The budget forms are going to be actually within the cyber grants. There is a budget for you to complete and to fill out. And so when you submit your proposal, that budget that's in cyber grants is the one we're going to look at. Once you are awarded, then you will get a work plan and a budget to work through your design concept.
Would you allow a daily programming of 5 students per day for 5 hours per week?
I think that may be an offline question. Again, I need to see what that looks like. I mean, if you need to have that's spelling out 25 youth per week. How you choose to serve the youth is how you choose to serve the youth. But what you're saying is, I have 25 youth that I'm going to work with, but I'm only going to work with 5 of them per day. You need to let me see what that looks like.
Would a program focused on media, arts, building journalism skills while working with technology relevant to youth count as arts or technology, or both?
So media and journalism is generally arts, but then when you talk about media, you're also talking about broadcasting. You are talking about using computer technology. So I can't write that proposal for you. You tell me what it looks like.
Will economic disclosure forms be due at the time of submission?
The EDS or the EDS forms do? No, they're not. That they will be due at the time of the contracting. And I'm not sure if you saw it or not, but we posted to everyone. Victor just said that the recording will be available through YouTube. So we will send you a link, and you'll be able to go on YouTube, and you'll be able to get the information. And again, to everyone who participated and hasn't registered with an email, we're going to send you a copy of the PowerPoint.
Is the match based on total budget or the amount funded to do it through DSSS?
Total budget.
When will you know if there will be funds available for 2017?
That's dependent upon the city's budget for 2017, and that comes out in October or November.
So again, once the budget comes out, the mayor, once his budget comes out and there's city council has voted on it, we'll know.
When creating the budget for this program, should the budget be created for 2 years or just for the first year?
1 year for the amount you're requesting.
What is the likelihood of receiving funds if your program is not in the community or skills listed in the appendix?
It depends on how many other applications we receive.
What are the requirements for staff and contract workers who are working with youth? Background checks, fingerprinting, CPR training, etc.
So let me just say that having qualified staff also means staff that have certain elements in place. There aren't too many youth programs out here, whether we fund or we do not fund, that don't require certain types of background checks for staff that they are paying to implement programming with youth. And so that's something, as once you're awarded, we would spell out in your work plan.
What's an example of a behavioral health program?
Behavioral health program is a program that offers counseling. For us, our behavioral health program is a program that offers counseling to youth throughout the year. It's a year-round program for us, and counseling actually takes place in schools, at home, and or at the delegate agency itself.
We use vehicles to transport our youth to and from programs. Does our transportation have to be ADA compliant?
So it's interesting. I would hope that your current transportation would be ADA compliant. If you have a child that's in a wheelchair and they want to participate in your program, it'd be great if you could offer them that transportation service. Currently, if we have a program that is not ADA compliant, the expectation is that they can offer programming to that particular family at another location that is ADA compliant.
The budget form is not attached in the cyber grant.
Hold on a minute, please. So it should be, and with cyber grants you have the option of going in, saving your work, and then going back in. So shortly after this webinar, Julia, who is our administrative support for all of our RFPs, she will check to see, and if it's not in there, it'll be in there shortly thereafter.
A portion of the rent for the location services, where the location services are provided, be included in the budget?
In the budget, that is considered operating cost, and if you are awarded, the expectation is that you will have a current lease submitted with the budget. So we are, this is the end of our presentation. We really do hope that we have answered all of your questions. If you need to reach out for any further, questions regarding programming, my email address is there. It's Earline, EARLINE, .Whitfield-Alexander @cityofchicago.org. If you run into any administrative technical questions that you need to ask, Julia Talbert is available. Her email is jtalbert@cityofchicago.org. Please, during this process, feel free to reach out to us at any time. We are here to support you. We really do look forward to all of your submissions. Again, I want to pop up the timeline, which is that all your proposals are due on November 30th at 12 noon. Award notifications will occur on December 11th, and the program will begin on January the 1st. Again, at the end of this session, we are going to email you. We are going to email you the PowerPoint. Shortly thereafter, we will send you the link of the recording of this session. We really appreciate your time, your effort. We are looking forward to all of your great ideas, and we wish you a great Friday and a wonderful weekend. Thank you.